Right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second press update from the Jubilee Party. I'm happy to report that the exercise is still ongoing smoothly across the country in the various counties where we're conducting our nominations today. This exercise is being monitored, as always, on a real-time basis. We are receiving very positive reports. We haven't received any reports of violent conduct. We haven't received reports of any disruptions by candidates. I've actually witnessed several candidates voting peacefully, and we're very pleased to see the example that's being set first and foremost by the contestants. And this example is being mirrored in the conduct of our voters across the country. Now, as we get to the final phases of concluding our nominations, which is the work of my board, we thought we would include in this update some guidelines and some pointers on the way forward in terms of how we intend to handle the conclusion of this process and moving forward towards the next phases of the electoral process. Now, firstly, the processing and release of results is an ongoing exercise. I'm sure you've seen several press conferences with our returning officers. These are going on across the country, and as those results are announced, they will be brought to the headquarters for tallying. And the next big thing that will be happening is then the issuance of what we call our nomination certificates, which will be the only official documents that confirm any individual as a nominee of the Jubilee Party. Now, this process will be conducted as follows. Firstly, for candidates who are unopposed for the positions of governor, senator, and women's rep, and member of the National Assembly, these candidates should collect their nomination certificates from our party headquarters on Friday, 28th April 2017. These candidates will not have gone through the rigors of a nominations competition. Secondly, for candidates who are unopposed for the position of member of the County Assembly, MCA, they should similarly collect their certificates from our headquarters on from the county headquarters, their respective CEBs on Friday, 28th April 2017. Now, for the competitive primaries, the positions of governor, senator, women's rep, and members of the National Assembly, our constitution requires us to give an allowance of 3 days for lodging of disputes, which I alluded to earlier will be handled by our appeals tribunal. Should these 3 days pass without any disputes being lodged, then these candidates who are successful during the nominations exercise will collect their nomination certificates from our party headquarters as follows. Those who competed in the primaries on Monday, 24th April, certificates shall be available on Saturday, 29th April 2017. Those who competed on Tuesday, 25th, their certificates will be available on Monday, the 1st of May 2017, and those who competed on Wednesday, 26th April, today, their certificates will be available on Tuesday, 2nd May 2017, thus giving allowance for any constitutional processes to be undertaken. Where appeals have been lodged, the appeals tribunal will shortly, I believe in the next hour and a half, hold a press conference to advise the disputants on the process of the appeal and give further guidance on exact steps that will be followed thereafter. Now, beyond that, in the interim, our secretariat is very busy continuing with the tallying of the various forms received from returning officers in the field. The only thing I'd like to do is request all our returning officers, we're sending messages to them, but to request them to immediately take steps through the county returning officers to remit the forms so that we can tally, because we're using the original signed forms to complete final tallies. And as soon as the results are announced, there's no reason to hold on to the forms. These should be brought to Nairobi immediately to the party headquarters. As a party, of course, these certificates, we recognize that these certificates have historically always been a very sensitive document. Already we've seen a number of candidates rushing to the headquarters to collect them. We're being very careful about how they're being issued. In fact, they're security documents with their own security features, and we have to guard against any attempts at falsification of the same or any erroneous issuance of these documents. So we ask our candidates to kindly bear with us and follow the timelines that we have submitted. Of course, in doing all of this, we all have to be conscious of the IEBC long stop date, as it were. The IEBC must receive our party nominations lists by the 10th of May 2017. So we will be undertaking to conclude all these administrative and appellate processes between now and then. Thank you very much. I can take one or two questions if there are any. Sorry? Yes. We are computing the timeline 3 days from the announcement to allow the candidates, obviously, to absorb the numbers. Some of them, of course, will need to reflect on the enormity of the outcome, and those 3 days, we believe, will be sufficient. Yes. 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 Yes, a lot of the results have already been announced at county level. So for the avoidance of doubt, I'm talking about the announcement of the results at county level, not the tallying that will go on here. The minute the results are announced at county or constituency level, the clock begins ticking with those 3 days. And we find that that will then be sufficient to allow also candidates traveling from far-flung areas to also travel and deal with the appeals. But you'll also be briefed on our online process later by the appellate tribunal for lodging appeals. So candidates do not have to worry if you're coming from Isiolo or somewhere. You will have enough time to lodge them first online and then come with the original document here. But you appreciate it's a legal document. It must be properly lodged.